Eagles are the better team. I can't say it any other way.
I don't really think everybody knows what they're about to witness.
I know talent when I see one. I should be an NFL scout.
Jonathan, I don't like that pick. I love that pick.
If you've ever wanted a chance to beat me in fantasy football, this is your opportunity. We've partnered with Gameblazers to offer a completely free contest each week for anyone 13 years old or older, where winners will get a shout out on my Sunday live show, as well as credits to open more packs. Think of Gameblazers as Madden Ultimate Team mixed with fantasy football. You can open packs to build your roster and compete in contests to win credits or cash. Use the link in our bio to get a free starter pack and join our free contest titled Dorm Debate. Good luck.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dorm Debate podcast, and welcome to week 4 preview episode. And we got a great one for you guys. We're going to be looking at the undefeated teams as of right now and the teams that don't have a win currently. So I say we just jump right into it, and we're going to start with the undefeated teams. I feel like we've been talking about the teams that suck lately, so it's good to talk about teams that are actually good. So the teams that are undefeated right now, the Eagles, they beat the Buccaneers last night in Tampa, 49ers, and the Dolphins. So only 3 undefeated teams left. And coincidentally, the Eagles play the Dolphins in week 7, so not that far off. And the 49ers play the Cowboys week 5, which could be a potential loss. So I'll go through. Jonathan got a little perked up there. Is that
sometimes neutral moderators?
I forgot. I didn't.
Shots.
Should we give you like 5 minutes to kind of rant about the Cowboys? How are you feeling after that loss?
This is a check on you as friends. How are you doing?
Yeah, mentally.
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing okay. It's just the thing between us and the 49ers. 49ers have a deeper bench. They have more talent across every level. The Cowboys, we were missing 3 offensive linemen, and you saw that. Like, that's embarrassing to lose to the Cardinals like that. I mean, the Cardinals probably this game they're probably trying the hardest, right? They want to be the Cowboys. Everybody wants to be the Cowboys.
No, but
like
they
no, the Giants are tanking on purpose, but the Cowboys, everybody wants to be who wouldn't want to be the Cowboys? That's Jerry Jones. People get annoyed by them. Yeah, the most valuable sports franchise in the world. Yeah, that's bragging rights. You got to beat them. But everybody else, yeah, they're tanking. So it's unfortunate they did that. It's really sad they did that. But yeah, Cowboys should have been ready. I think Cowboys expected them to sort of tank again, and thought it was going to be easy, right? But it wasn't at all, right? They tried their very best, all the best plays they ever had. This year, they ran it against the Cowboys. Why? I don't know. I mean, people hate the Cowboys. That's why. And so, yeah, it's disappointing. But again, we were missing 3 starters. I am afraid when something like that happens and we're missing some starters on the offensive side, on the offensive lineman side, and also on other offensive weapons. We don't have a deep bench of players that can step up like the 49ers do. 49ers, you essentially can stick anybody in the system and they'll be pretty good, right? But that's not the case with the Cowboys, and that is sort of concerning, right? Our team is elite, above average, but if we want to get to the Super Bowl, we're going to have to make some improvements on the roster. We can't just depend on the starters. And so, yeah, it was a little bit disappointing, but we're missing 3 starters, so.
If
everybody's healthy,
linemen and the cornerback. We talked about that on the Sunday pod, like just the adjustments. The 2 offensive linemen. That, I mean, it's part of the game, like you're saying, but that's a good point. That that's certainly something I thought of. Like, it's just I think in that situation, and people who listen to the Sunday pod will hear these say it again. But like when you're losing that many starters, you're starting to ask Dak to do a lot more, and versus it being such a team-friendly, a quarterback-friendly team like the 49ers. Not to say Brock Purdy's not legit, but. Yep. Yeah, I could give you that. And
they were like Cowboys almost scored a few times. They're at the red zone, but
Oh yeah, mistakes. I mean, discipline, penalties, dude. Like, exactly. The number of penalties. And I feel like that's you keep a closer eye on the Cowboys than me, but I feel like the overall McCarthy area, there's been so many penalties. Like it's not a disciplined team in that regard, which cost y'all in last game. But I feel like we talked about this last year or the year before. Like it's not new.
Yeah. I mean, the place you want to be the most disciplined is in the red zone. That's why the Chiefs always go far, because at the red zone they treat it like white man gloves.
Reed's got them.
They're very careful with it. They want to score, right? They know it's very important.
Get something.
The Cowboys, I guess, again, they knew it was the Cardinals. They probably thought they were tanking. I don't know. They thought it was a joke. But hey, the Cardinals surprised us, and we lost as a result. Surprised everybody.
Still a lot of seasons. Yeah, that's why I can't
Yeah, you're
Count 'em
not.
off.
You're not. Like, we're not gonna win this year. Like, it's over.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. It'll happen.
It's coming.
No, I think Cardinals were just for some reason really trying their best against us. Like, it's annoying because everybody hates us. Everybody wants to be the Cowboys, so we have to face everybody's best every week, right? Nobody's coasting against the Cowboys. Even the Cardinals that are tanking, they wanted to beat the Cowboys for some reason.
Well, the
And I guess-
Giants didn't try, so you didn't get our best, but that's all right.
It was funny that game. Like, they were up like at half, and I was like, "Oh my god, I hope the Cowboys win because this literally goes to our script."
Exactly.
And I was like, "This is perfect." But
Now it makes the Giants look really good.
yeah, it does. That Giants win is now credible.
Do you have hope,
It's
John?
respectable.
Do you have hope, John? Now, for your team. I remember with the Giants' kind of hard start to
Yeah,
the
my
season.
fantasy
you were like
team's
kinda...
doing really good. No, the Giants.
There it is, hope.
I mean, I need Saquon back. I mean, we should. The thing is, we should win this game Monday Night Football against the Seahawks. If we don't win this game, I'm concerned. That's a game we should be able to win at home.
But Seahawks get their safety back.
Yeah,
Adams,
Jamal
right?
Adams. Yeah, he's back.
Which is
We should still win the game, even if Saquon doesn't play. I'm still expecting to win.
I like the Seahawks. I mean, I'm not picking them for upset, but they're good. They're a good team. Gino's like still.
Yeah,
They're a good team. Yeah.
Nah,
Jamal Adams is coming
got
back.
close against the Panthers for a minute though.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't call them upper echelon, but I don't know. That's gonna be an interesting one to watch.
Yeah, the Seahawks are surprisingly good. You don't think they're gonna be that good, but
I don't know if they're
it's a
dark
one.
horses anymore, but they had a good draft. They're getting Adams back. Gino is solid still, so it's I
It's
don't
gonna be
know.
a good
But yeah.
The first topic or first segment we got is who will be the last undefeated team standing out of the Eagles, out of the 49ers, and Dolphins. Who will be the last one? So I mentioned the schedule. Eagles, Dolphins play week 7. Dolphins play the Bills in Buffalo this week, so they could potentially lose and be out of this race. My pick is the 49ers. I don't like Brock Purdy at all, and you guys know that. But this schedule is weak as hell. They face the Cowboys week 5, and they face at Eagles week 13, and that's it. That's their toughest games, 2 of them. The Eagles, we all know, have the strength of schedule. They got to face the Dolphins. They got to go at Kansas City. They have to play the Bills. They have to play the Niners. Much tougher schedule. Although I think the Eagles are the better team, the 49ers, as far as strength of schedule, blow it out of the water. Now, they could lose at Philly in week 13, but remember, that's like that middle part where the Eagles face the Cowboys, then they face the Chiefs, then they face the Bills and the Niners. So that's that really tough stretch for the Eagles. So anything can happen at that point. But for me, if I'm looking at a team that's going to be the last one standing, as far as schedule, as far as play, they really haven't struggled with anybody. Maybe the Rams, but that's a division rival, so I can understand that. But it looks like the Niners for me. John, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I would agree with everything you said. I mean, the toughest games, like you said, Cowboys at home, in next week, week 5, that they should win that. I mean, that's going to be at home. Cowboys, they have their number. And like you said, the Eagles, that's their toughest opportunity or toughest chance game in whatever week that is. But like you said, that's in the middle of the Eagles' tough stretch. So the only other game I see them potentially struggling with is the Bengals in week 8. If the Bengals can get it together, that's really it. And they're probably going to lose 1, maybe 2 games the whole year. But yeah, I don't see them losing for a while, especially with the Chiefs. The Eagles, they have to play the Dolphins, they got to play the Chiefs, they got to play the Bills, Cowboys a couple times in the middle of the year, and the Dolphins I don't think are going to get past. They got to play the Bills this week and then Eagles in week 7. They're going to lose one of those 2. They're not that good of a team. So I agree with 49ers.
I disagree. I think the team that's going to remain undefeated is the Dolphins.
Oh
Guys,
my gosh.
I know I wasn't on the Sunday's podcast, but let me just tell you. The Dolphins are for real. 70 points in the NFL?
It's crazy.
I've never seen that in my life. I know that's history, the second most points ever. They had the opportunity to make it 73, but, humble Mike McDaniels didn't do it. That was impressive. That was crazy. You know why they scored 70? They have speed. Nothing, in my opinion, beats speed. You can have all the strength you want, but if you can't run fast and score quickly, I mean, there's no use. They have speed on all levels. Tyreek Hill, I mean, Waddle wasn't playing, but Braxton Berrios is good.
Waddle wasn't even playing. That's
yeah, Waddle
crazy
wasn't playing.
Yeah.
He wasn't playing. Mostert. I told y'all about Devon Chain, right? I've seen him at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
He's fast, and y'all saw that. It's great that he showed the world this weekend, and I think this offense is unstoppable. There's no way the Bills can stop him this weekend. They're definitely
except
going
the
to beat
concussion.
the
Maybe.
Are you going to pick the Dolphins as an upset pick?
Bills. If it's yeah,
If it's
definitely do
available, I
that.
guess.
100%. 100%.
They
This
are.
one-
I was surprised.
They
that
are
they're
upset. They are
which-
underdogs.
2.5 points.
There's no stopping. There's no stopping.
There's
this
no
offense.
way they're not
Nothing.
gonna. There's no way they're not gonna run for at least 150
John,
yards. Right?
Do you have the off the top of your head the stat about Tua and like the Dolphins from last year, the first 3 games to this year?
Oh yeah, there was some stat that I don't know if I have it. I don't know if I screenshotted it,
I
but
know
I
what you're
know.
talking about, though.
Uh,
I don't have it memorized either, but it's like
oh,
Eerie.
I think it's Tua is like 3-0 start last year, 3-0 start this year. He has 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he's got like 52 completions on 107 attempts. Or I don't know, something like that. But either way, he's got the same amount of wins, same amount of touchdowns, same amount of interceptions, same amount of completions, same amount of attempts after 3 games this season that he
it's
had
something
last
ridiculous
season.
like that.
Like
That's
how does it
incredible.
come down to
It's not-
that?
Not even 1 or 2 like stat points, but it's like everything that makes a quarterback good, like that you want to look at. He's exactly the same as
He's
last
amazing.
year.
He's amazing. The only
for him.
thing last year was the injury, right? The concussion.
Right.
Yep.
If
right.
he's able to stay healthy, there's nobody stopping this offense. I'm telling you, the Dolphins are going to remain undefeated. This is the team to beat. And it's the most exciting team to watch.
They are, yeah.
And so I think, guys, that this is. Let me tell you, the Dallas Cowboys. We lose to the Cardinals, right? But then when we face the 49ers, we're going to win. That's the Dallas Cowboys.
It is.
You're
It
not
is
gonna
true.
go.
Cowboys
You're
do-
not gonna go to San Francisco.
Oh, yes, we are. You're going to be surprised. You're going to be surprised. We're
Can,
going to win.
pick
Can you
them
go
as
to
an
that
upset.
game? Can you go to that game?
I wish I could, yeah. I, mean,
I wish I could. Why not?
Cheer him on.
Yeah, I mean, the games, San Francisco, Golden State, those games are pretty expensive because all the
good-
entrepreneurs, techies, and all
Yeah.
that.
And when they're good teams, the prices are so high.
So
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
Well, wait,
but I think the
so-
Cowboys will win that one.
So Caleb, you're wearing your Eagles hat. I feel like
Yep.
you're gonna say Eagles, but are you gonna be a tad humble and maybe say another team?
No, I don't know if humble's the right word, but because there's a difference between going undefeated and being the team that wins a Super Bowl. You know, and I don't really believe in jinxing, but I think it's important for me as an Eagles fan to try to force myself to take another position. And so my pick will actually be the Dolphins as well. I think
Excellent
Eagles
pick.
overall. I mean, I am biased, but I think they are an overall better team. You don't know how they'll hit you, so when but I think for the answer to the question, who will be the last undefeated team? And we're saying this in the shadow of a 70-20 performance, so maybe it's biased even more. But like Jonathan was saying, like I think the schema, I couldn't even explain it to you, but to my understanding, what Mike McDaniel is doing offensively, outside of just using guys and drafting for speed, it's something that the league is like it's innovative. It's innovative, like what they did, what they're doing, and so I think it's something that the league will take longer to adapt to. I'm not saying they're a team that's gonna. It's interesting this question because it's like. Remember when the Panthers were like 15-1 and made it to the Super Bowl but didn't win? Like you don't have to. There's only been one team in NFL history to go undefeated overall.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that.
Well,
for my
the
team either.
Patriots were undefeated, and then the Giants spoiled it.
Yeah,
what
which
was
is great.
What was the Eagles' record last year? They only had 1 loss.
They were like 11
They were
against
No.
Washington.
16-1, right? At the end.
What?
Of the
We
year.
beat the
No,
Eagles.
because I think at the end there was because I think we
so
didn't put
15-2.
starters in. Yeah, I think
15-0.
there's a nuance there, right? Because the game, there's a bit of luck. But I'm going to go Dolphins just because I think that speed and that's going to be tough to answer in the regular season. I think things will change once the stakes are higher. And then the one caveat why I'm not going 49ers is I think Tua's ceiling is higher on the individual. And I don't hate Purdy. I think he's shown that he's you
have to either love him or hate
My
him. You
God,
have to
no,
be
when
on
is
one
anybody other than me gonna give this guy some respect?
I mean, he doesn't have to do anything.
I'm with
honestly.
you, John. Like,
yeah,
no,
you're right.
no, no.
He's just so good. He doesn't have to try.
It's
Yeah,
a
give it
very,
to McCaffrey.
no,
Throw it to Debo right there.
I
Like,
can't.
Come
No,
on.
no,
It's
y'all
cheating.
don't give Purdy. I mean, except John. I don't think I respect Purdy. I think it's a great story. I think he's actually proven to be more. it's also a quarterback-friendly team. The reason I'm not going the 49ers is mainly because, and I hope it doesn't happen, but like a guy like Christian McCaffrey being on the team opened up so much. That was like the spark the 49ers needed. Brock Purdy came and is like his own spark in a different way, but is doing what a guy like Garoppolo did plus more. And he's got the youth and he's got the talent to maybe, have a great career in the NFL. But if something happens to McCaffrey, like his issue with injuries, any one of these weeks, which I don't want to happen, but it's a bit like Giants and Barkley. You don't have him, then a lot of the other offense, a lot of the quarterback friendliness, you start to ask Purdy to do a lot more. And I'm not saying that even if that doesn't happen, I think it's just a team that I'd like the spark the Dolphins have across the schematically, if you will. Being able to put 70 against a team. Can the 49ers do that? The 49ers can win games pretty consistently, but to dominate the way the Dolphins have, I think
they can't do that. Yeah.
For going undefeated the most, I'd reckon the Dolphins over the 49ers for these reasons.
Yeah. And Ayuk was out last week. Debo, is always, on the fence of questionable all the time. And like McCaffrey, we all know McCaffrey is somewhat injury prone. So and Kittle is a guy that sometimes is not playing.
Yeah.
So that is a big factor and big variables.
Yeah, I thought Christian McCaffrey, when he got traded last year, I thought he'd get injured that year. But ever since the Panthers, he's been pretty healthy.
So I
don't know if it's because of the location. I don't know if because they have a better strength and conditioning coach in San Francisco.
The athletic trainer
there's something.
Better.
Yeah, he looks a lot better than he did in the Panthers. I mean, I didn't think he was this great when he was on the Panthers.
I agree. I actually told John a couple weeks ago. I was like, I think this is the best version of McCaffrey, even better than on the Panthers. Which sounds crazy.
He scored a touchdown in 12 straight games.
Right.
Yeah. Isn't that a record or?
They're 8-0 and Purdy's healthy the whole game.
Yeah. Purdy hasn't lost when he's healthy.
When they traded for McCaffrey, they got that smart.
Undefeated.
It's the wrong storyline. It's not him. It's not him.
It's not him. Yeah,
he's taking the credit.
He's the luckiest guy on the earth.
Dude,
he's the luckiest guy.
No,
he's the luckiest guy.
Because they put in Beathard years ago. They've had this team other than Garoppolo. Purdy's the only one who's been able to do it. So he's not a scrub. It's
those people, Jonathan, that they slap their name on the PowerPoint for the group project.
Exactly.
That's
what it is.
Brock. No, that's Brock.
He happens to be on the the top performing group project every single time.
I can't.
Yeah,
if he's there every time, then no, I can't. I'm not even that passionate about him, but I don't know why y'all hate him so much.
Yeah, because it's not him. We all know it's not him.
Yes, we all know. We all know. We just you have all the stats to back it up, but you got to see through the stats.
Exactly.
I'm not as strong as John, but I'm not with Jared and Jonathan on
I
this one. I gotta give him
still
respect.
stand by the fact that Purdy's better than Dak, and he will have a better QBR and record by the end of the year.
Ooh, keep an eye on that.
If the 49ers had Dak, they would be undefeated for 2 years straight.
I think they might.
Plus the Super Bowl.
I think they might. I don't even know if they'd make the playoffs.
Nah, dude. Plus the Super Bowl, it would be history.
Dude, if the Cowboys had Purdy, oh my gosh,
that's an interesting.
That'd be
question
terrible
to throw the audience.
That'd be terrible.
He'd get hurt.
What do the people think? So for summation, we have 2 Dolphins and 2 49ers for the last team to go undefeated.
2 Dolphins, 2 49ers.
Okay, no one for the Eagles. See, I didn't want to.
Well, you know why, Caleb? They're facing the Commanders in Philly, who last year spoiled you. Although Taylor Heineke is not there.
He's gone. The bad man is gone.
Yeah, the bad man is gone.
Don't get me triggered on that again. But no. Eagles are a good team.
The second segment: who will be the last team to get their first win? We're back to the sucky suck teams. Broncos, Vikings, Bears, and Panthers all do not have a win. Now, coincidentally, the schedule plays out pretty funny. So out of these 4 teams, there will only be 2 left after this week because the Bears are at the Broncos and the Vikings are at the Panthers. So out of that, there are going to be 2 left. So this list will be cut in half, which is pretty funny that we timed this perfectly. John, I'm going to throw it to you because you have a stat about 0-3 teams to tell the world.
Yes, I do. I have a stat for you guys, and the stat is that there have been 251 teams in the Super Bowl era to go 0-3 to start the season, and only 6 of them have made the playoffs. That's 2.3%. And the last team in the last 20 years to make the playoffs after starting 0-3 was the 2018 Texans with Deshaun Watson. So that means that Broncos, Bears, Panthers, and Vikings, you're all out of luck. You can't make the playoffs. Justin Jefferson won't make the playoffs. I can't believe that.
No.
I hope all the best for them, but the stats are the stats, and they just say that they won't make the playoffs.
98 times out of 100, they won't make it. So there's still
Just a small little chance.
Small. But what about the Bears, Panthers, and Broncos? Now they're just
They have no shot at all.
Well, who will be the last team is the question.
Who will be the last
first
team?
win?
the
That's a
last
good
team
stat,
to get
though.
their
Thanks for
first
sharing
win.
that, though.
So
Yeah.
so I'll go through the Broncos. They're at the Bears this week, and then next week they play the Jets, and then the Bears play the Broncos this week, and then in week 10, Thursday Night Football, they play the Panthers.
Oh.
So in my opinion, after this week, I think Broncos beat the Bears, and I think the Vikings beat the Panthers.
Yes, I agree. So, got
So
that out of the
that
way.
week 10 Thursday night game, prime Thursday night stinker, bro. The Bears and the
That's why I
Panthers.
groaned.
It is like the perfect like
That is
Thursday
perfect.
night culmination.
Winless teams.
Win
Who did
two
Amazon
winless
wrong?
teams.
To get
Yeah.
2 weeks. Well, I mean, last Thursday's was fine, but
It's just
what
the
did Amazon
usual.
do?
Thursday is always the worst game ever, and this will be the worst game, but it'll have the most people watching because they're like, who sucks more?
Yeah.
And it's
There's no way.
intriguing.
There's no way
No.
both these teams are 0-9 going into that game, right?
That'd
Is
be
there?
wild. Amazon at that point would have to
What if they
like,
end in a
refund.
tie?
that time.
That would be so annoying.
I
Wait,
didn't factor that in.
I actually
know
think
ties
they
are
will
possible.
be 0-9. I actually do. These teams are terrible. But I actually do. I think that the Bears are worse right now
I
than
agree.
the Panthers.
I was gonna say there's an easy answer to this. I feel. I don't know if you guys feel, but my answer is regardless was gonna be the Bears. Like
Yeah.
it sucks. I think it's terrible if you're a Chicago fan because they have a very passionate football fan base. But everything you're hearing, I don't even think Fields is the problem. I think it's the coaching. Organizationally, they didn't give Fields the weapons, and he's kind of checked out. And every other team has a bright spot to look forward to, whereas the Bears, it's like coaching wise, it's all
There
gone
is
down the gutter.
there is no bright spot because the only bright spot of last year was Justin Fields.
Yeah,
and they've
and-
all jumped off the Fields train already.
Yeah,
He's not. They haven't given him the weapons to be himself, and so
Well,
they're getting.
kind
Yeah.
of. They've given
He
him
tried to-
DJ
They gave
Moore,
DJ
Claypool.
Moore.
They gave him DJ Moore. Yeah,
He-
They
good
got
both.
they got all these teams like second string wide receiver, not second string, but like
True.
second depth chart. You know, he doesn't have no, they're not. They're not using him right. They're not using the receivers right. And it sucks because they're not. None of those guys are chumps. I think it's just something's gone on organizationally with the Bears. I think they'll be the last one to get a win.
Yeah, again, I watch film on all these guys. I know talent when I see one, and I know when talent is not there. And I've been saying it for years. Justin Fields, he's not the guy in the league. He's not a starter in the league. Maybe a backup, but he's not a starter. And I think he's been overrated over the past couple of years. Finally, this year, people are starting to realize he's not the guy. And I think he's going to get exposed even to a greater extent next Thursday when they face the Panthers. People are going to realize, like, wait, this guy is terrible. Like, why haven't we seen this? Bryce Young's going to outplay him, and they're going to lose. And Justin Fields, this is probably going to be his last year as a starter.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you could hang your hat on Fields' running ability last year and overlook the passing. Now he can barely get out of the pocket. He had like 3 yards rushing 2 games ago. I mean, he's a shell of himself rushing wise, but passing wise, he made no improvement. So now you can't even hang your hat on that rushing ability. And not only that, but DJ Moore was mic'd up a game ago, and he's like, they're not using you right. And DJ Moore's
Yep.
like, tell me about it, bro. Like, they are not using me right. Like, and you just got him. The guy's only played with the Bears for 3 games, and he's already pissed off. Like, how hard
He was
is it
good
to
on the
keep?
Panthers?
Yeah, how hard is it to keep these players like happy? And like, I don't know what the solution is for the Bears. This team, I've thrown shade at the Vikings organization. I've thrown shade at the Chargers organization, but for once, I will say that to be a Bears fan, that is like the benchmark as far as like, oh, is it as bad as the Bears? Are the Chargers as bad as the Bears? No, okay, we can rest assured they're
This-
not. But
this season,
they are
yeah.
that team at the bottom that you're like, at least we're not the Bears. And like year in and year out, it just reigns to be true that this organization, the players, like something is wrong, but they cannot figure it out for the life of them. They only had one winning season in like 10 seasons, and it was at the end of it was a freaking double doink, like the
with
typical
Nagy.
yeah, with the Bears
Matt Nagy,
ending of
whatever.
a double doink in the playoffs. So you can't even hang your hat on that. The Panthers, dude, I want them to get a win so bad, dude. Like, and you can hang your hat on Bryce Young and being the first pick. Adam Thielen's playing amazing. That defense is not terrible. So, like, there's a lot of, like, bright spots for the Panthers for the future. Frank Reich, it's only his first season, we got to remember. So, I think the Panthers, the brighter,
Yeah.
what do they call it? Greener pastures are ahead of them.
Yeah, they'll be fine. And what I just looked on their schedule is that before they play the Bears in Week 10, they have a bye in Week 7, and then Week 8 they play at home against the Texans, Week 9 at home against the Colts. So they're going to win one of those two. I'd say they're going to beat the Texans because coming off a bye at home, that'll be probably a pretty good game for the Panthers. So I think they'll probably win in Week 8 at least if they go 0-6 going into that.
So we're all in agreement. Bears, sucky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Chicago.
Let's move on to lock and upset picks for this week. Now we do have a change in the standings for lock and upset.
Yes. You guys better watch out.
I forgot to get the standings up, but I don't remember the numbers, but the standings are John, you went 2-0, right?
I went 2-0 this week.
Caleb, you went 1-1.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you went 1-1. I went 0-2 because of the pitiful Dallas Cowboys. I will never put my faith.
It was the Cardinals. You blame them for trying.
It wasn't
the
the Cowboys' fault.
Blame them for trying their hardest.
It's on site. If
They were
I
supposed
see
to
a
tank.
Cowboys
Everybody thought they were
player,
gonna
it's
tank,
on
and
site.
They
It's
didn't
on
follow the
site.
script.
I will never. You'll never catch me picking Cowboys for a
Dude,
lock
I-
or an upset. Never for the rest of the season. Maybe carries over to next year.
So
The first. So now the standings go.
Standings are Caleb 5-1, Jonathan 4-2,
Yep.
John 4-2, Jared 2-4 actually.
2-4. Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I have the first pick for the first
Yep.
time ever in this lock and upset. John, you get the second pick.
Yes.
So with my first lock, I'm going easy. I'm going comfortable. I don't want to be stressed out about my lock like last week. Chiefs minus 9.5 against the Jets. I am going with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Gotta pick the easiest one.
Yep. John, you're up.
I'll pick the second easiest one. I'm a little bit worried. If it was in Arizona, I'd be more worried, but the 49ers are going to beat the Cardinals at home.
Are you sure about that?
Cardinals can't have 2 good weeks in a row, guys.
Imagine if it's the Cardinals that beat the best, quote unquote, best
Oh
defense
my-
in the league, and then beat 49ers who are undefeated. Like it's the Cardinals, and they go over the rest of the season tanking. That'd be so funny.
Imagine.
That'd be hilarious. No, but for your sake, they're the biggest difference in favor. They're minus 14. 49ers are minus 14 favorites, which is
That's
by far
insane.
the biggest.
Jonathan, have you found your lock?
Oh, my luck. Oh boy.
It's a tough schedule this week.
Yeah, it is. But I'm gonna go with the Dallas Cowboys defeating
Oh.
the Patriots.
Okay.
Hey, are you sure about that?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be easy.
Okay, Caleb, you're up.
I
The Eagles are in play. Just
Does he
wanna let
jinx
I know.
the Eagles or not?
I gotta be careful
You do.
because they're probably the minus 8. They're minus 8 over the Commanders, and they're the biggest remaining difference. But I'm gonna watch that one and just enjoy it as a fan. And I don't want because I was pretty stressed out watching. One of my picks was Saints Packers, and they lost by a field goal, and I was angrier at that than I thought because it affected my first loss in this game we play. So I'm gonna go out of the box, take a risk on a team that you guys love. One of you love a lot, and that's the Chargers over the Raiders. They're
You wanna
minus
pick- You want to pick a game that's not stressful? You pick the Chargers.
You know it's going to be a one-score game.
Oh, it's gonna be very tough to watch.
-5.5 over the Raiders. I think Devontae's gonna have a good day, but I think now I'm gonna stick with it. I wanna test the waters a little bit. Splash around in the pond of risk and go with the Chargers.
Yeah,
See if they can
you're
do
going to
it.
be living life in
Who's
my
the
shoes
worst?
on Sunday.
You'll be
Yeah, I wanna-
stressed
I wanna
like crazy.
I want to method act as Jared for a week because it's gonna be Staley versus McDaniels, two coaches that I don't think are very
Oh,
good.
gosh.
Both on the hot seat. So who's gonna be able to stay afloat? No, I'll go with the Chargers though, because you have Herbert.
Good on you. Good on you. On to upsets. It's fitting that I'm right after Caleb. I'm picking the Raiders. I'm picking the Raiders plus 5.5 against the Chargers. Reason being, I don't want to be sad at the end of Sunday night. So if the Chargers win,
boy.
I'm happy. If the Chargers lose, I'm 2-0 on the week. I need something. I'm coming
And you
home
bring
with
me down.
something.
You bring me down with you. So yeah, this is smart
God.
from a psychological warfare perspective. You get something out of both outcomes.
I don't know why I haven't been doing this the whole time, but
no,
John, you're up.
I'm gonna pick one that I think is pretty easy, and I'm surprised that this team isn't favored. But I'm gonna pick the Los Angeles Rams to go into Indianapolis as underdogs. It is 1.5 points, so it is not a lot. But I do think that the Rams will come out with the win. I mean, Colts and Minshew had a great game against the Ravens in Baltimore. But
Richardson may play. He was upgraded to questionable now.
yeah, either way, I think the Rams, Stafford, that offense looks good. It looks pretty good.
All right, Jonathan.
All right, this time I really mean it. I'm picking the Miami Dolphins to defeat the Buffalo Bills. The Dolphins will give the Bills a huge spanking with so much points, and it's gonna be so satisfying to watch that.
How many points do you think? Maybe 30?
35, around, at least 35.
Okay,
Dolphins will score at least 35. The Bills won't be able to keep up. You're gonna see Josh Allen make mistakes again, and people are gonna get frustrated.
Yeah, I think you're right. I actually think Dolphins, they're playing too well right now.
And the Bills are winning games, but I agree. I've seen some mistake, but the Bills can do it. But for those listening who are surprised after the Dolphins went 70-20 over the Broncos, they are still 2.5 point underdogs against the Bills, which kind of surprises me. I thought it'd be
It's the home field advantage. in
Yeah, it's just
Buffalo.
because they're home. If it was in Miami, they'd be favored.
still warm weather. I don't.
Josh Allen's nervous. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
he is
I'm
he's-
nervous.
surprised at
yeah.
that spread. What's going on there?
That's
But yeah,
That's a good pick. I mean,
You've
you
had some good
haven't-
upset
you haven't,
picks,
You haven't picked
Jonathan,
against
so.
the Bills yet, so.
you did against.
I really mean it this
You
time,
do every
believe
week.
me.
Oh, you did actually in week 1.
Yeah, yeah,
In
in
week
week
2,
one.
in
So I'm
week
saying.
3. And
You're up.
No, this time I'm being. I know this time I'm serious. You'll see it. I mean it this time.
No, this is probably your best. I mean, who would have thought the Jets would have actually got it? All right, for my upset, I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Saints.
Ooh.
I think Carr is out.
Jameis Winston.
I think I know the Eagles just beat the Bucs. They have a good team. I'm a fan of Baker, so it gives me a reason to enjoy watching the game beyond that. And the other pick, this isn't my lock-in is Tampa Bay versus Saints. Tampa's my +3 underdogs. Would have been the Steelers Texans. I think what the Texans got going on is
Really?
very surprising. Yeah, I think.
Who's
I
the
think they have-
underdog? Texans?
Texans
yeah.
are the underdogs.
I thought about that, but that Steelers defense has been rock solid.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
too good.
I just feel the Steelers offense hasn't. And then you have D'Amico Ryans, who's the defensive coach of the Texans. That was the other one, but I'm curious what anyone in the audience would think. But I'm going to lock into Tampa Bay.
That's
+3.
That's a good
Yep.
pick. That's
Without
a good
Carr,
pick.
Saints without Carr though. I mean, it's locked in regardless. But if they don't have Carr, I think Winston can, but I don't think he will.
Yeah, dude. Let me tell you, when Winston goes into that huddle pregame and gives his speech, starts eating the W. Ooh, that's gonna get everybody fired up to lose by
I love-
30.
I
And
love
his
that
warm-ups,
stuff.
and his warm-ups, like random things.
How many interceptions? He's gonna have at least 2, right?
He practices his pregame speeches more than the game, like the actual throwing.
He's fun to
and stuff.
watch. He's got to
He's
get his
so
own show
fun.
one day.
One day, good for him that he's playing again. It's just good to see. He's just happy.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well, that'll do it for Week 4 preview episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you haven't, go hit us a follow over on TikTok and Instagram at Dorm Debate Podcast. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Hit this follow button, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit them all, smash them. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, please leave us a 5-star review. Guys, thank you so much again for watching. And as always, we will see you next week.